This is the current visible satellite imagery. Basically, it's a picture that's taken from about 22,000 miles up into space from the GOES satellites. Anyway, you can see some kind of interesting features just by looking at the satellite from above. We have Lake Okeechobee right here, which is relatively cool. Clouds are not developing because the water is relatively cool, so some clear skies actually moving into parts of Highlands County, all due to Lake Okeechobee. Notice that we have some cumulus clouds here. These are called cloud streets. You can actually see the wind direction to the northwest due to the direction of the fair weather clouds. Also notice that we have a good deal of clear skies for hundreds of miles offshore. Go farther out in the Gulf and we actually have a bit of cloud cover developing, and then go farther and we have a low pressure developing, forming more cloud cover. Again, the winds right now are out of the southeast. Alright, here's a look at the depth of the Gulf of Mexico. In case you're not aware, over the last thousands of years or so, the shape of Florida has actually changed as a result of sea level fall and rise. Where you see the shallow water here in the white, that is the West Florida shelf, and that's where land used to exist. There used to be trees and plants and possibly humans in that area, but due to sea level rise, you've actually seen the new coastline move much farther to where it exists right now. Notice when you go farther out in the Gulf, it drops off very quickly to 2,000 meters, so it gets deep pretty quickly. This actually is reflected in the current Gulf temperature. This is the temperature of the water. Notice that it's really cool where the water is shallow. It's in the upper 60s. You go farther out where the water is deeper, and it's actually approaching 80 degrees. And that's due to the Gulf Loop and some eddies and other processes that are actually the result of the depth of the Gulf of Mexico. Here's a visible satellite imagery from yesterday. Notice where the water was shallow, that we had no clouds, and all of a sudden, boom, we have clouds where the water starts to get a little deeper. Well, let's take a look at today's visible satellite, which isn't quite as obvious, but here's today's satellite. You can see again we have relatively clear skies offshore Florida, and then boom, all of a sudden you get cloud cover. Well, what's happening? You have winds blowing out of the southeast over relatively cool water. Well, when that relatively cool dry air gets pushed into more warm moist air where the water is deeper, then you get almost like a cold front developing, which forces these clouds to rise and to develop. So who would have known? By looking at the current satellite picture, you can tell the wind direction, you can tell what's going on with nearby lakes, you can actually even look back into history and see what's going on with the depth of the Gulf. So kind of cool stuff. I thought I saw that this afternoon and thought I would share the geekiness with you. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you have a good afternoon.